Good evening. Welcome back to my Midnight Spook Show here on the Horror Metal channel. I'm Lord Hellhound, and I've been so incredibly busy. These last couple weeks have been insane. I was so busy last week I didn't have time to eat. I didn't eat enough. I've lost 11 pounds in 1 week. I am just wasting away to nothing. I've gotten very thin. I don't know if you can tell or not, but yeah, my skin feels kind of tight on my skull. It was even hard to shave the other day because I've lost so much weight and I feel really weak. But I'm putting it back on. I've been eating a lot lately. A lot of Triscuits and some squeezed cheese and some Keebler cookies, fudge cookies, and all that delicious stuff. Cheez-Its, all my favorite snacks. And of course cereal, and more cereal because I'm a cereal addict. But anyway, yeah, I'm rambling. I got a lot of tags that I'm supposed to be doing. Sean Arishin tagged me in a couple videos. Bronco Juggle tagged me. The two main ones, I think the only two are the Three from the Grave tag, which Sean Urshan tagged me in, and then the Top 10 Metallica songs, which is a video created by Sean Urshan. Bronco Juggler made a response and tagged me. So I need to get to those, but I've been so incredibly busy. I haven't had any time to put any effort or thought into videos. So I figured I'd make a video real quick that didn't require a lot of thought. And that's going to be my top 10 television shows. Yeah, my top 10 favorite series. TV series, live action only. And no sitcoms. So as much as I love the Munsters, the Addams Family, Gilligan's Island, Beverly Hillbillies, Married to Children, Seinfeld, Big Bang Theory, no sitcoms. That's another list. Just serious live action television shows that are, that are not sitcoms. So anyway, let's go get started. Number 10 of Lord Hellhound's top 10 favorite TV shows, The Walking Dead and Game of Thrones tied. They're a tie for number 10. I couldn't decide between the two. They both had to make the list. I put them number 10. I know you're thinking, oh my gosh, they should be higher. They're the best shows ever. Yeah, I agree. They're pretty good. Not my favorite, but they're pretty damn good. I'm also a little behind on both shows. I'm not caught up, so I couldn't put them higher because I haven't seen all the episodes yet. So don't spoil it for me. I'll get caught up someday. Yeah, both great shows. I don't like them as much as everybody else does, but they still had to make the list. I think they're two of the best shows that are currently on today that are still running. So yeah, Walking Dead's great. I love zombies, all the post-apocalyptic wasteland where the ravenous living dead is going after the survivors of the human race. I like that. I love Game of Thrones. I love the whole fantasy thing, and there's a lot of horror elements as well. The White Walkers are scary as shit. The dragons, and everything's really, really cool. Just really awesome stuff. Some really disturbing graphic material in an awesome kind of medieval setting. It's kind of like Lord of the Rings crossed with, I don't know, some kind of horror-related thing. I don't know. I can't think right. Because I've been so damn busy lately. But anyway, yeah, Walking Dead and Game of Thrones are tied for number 10. Great shows. Number 9. Oh, by the way, I don't have any of those on DVD, by the way. I do have season 3 of Game of Thrones, but I think Miss Hellhound may have borrowed it, and I think she's got it upstairs in her room somewhere. I don't know. I only had season 3, and it's missing one of the discs, so gotta get this on DVD someday. But anyway, number 9, The Flash. This is my favorite superhero show. Don't get me wrong, Daredevil and The Punisher and Arrow are really good too. I think my favorite is The Flash. He's my favorite character out of all those, I think. I really like The Flash. This is an awesome superhero show. Got some awesome villains. Great acting by Grant Gustin and company. And Tom Cavanagh, of course, he's amazing in this. It does get really, really confusing with like all the time travel and multiple parallel universes and constantly going back from the present to the future and changing the past, and sometimes it doesn't affect the future like it should, and then characters from other timelines, there's like a character that'll be in the present that he came from the past, there's a character from another universe. It gets really confusing. So I've only watched the first 3 seasons, which are on DVD. I haven't seen season 4 and 5 yet, but I'm to understand it gets even more confusing. So I'm going to have to rewatch them because I still don't think I fully understand it. But it's a very high action, very entertaining, very fast-paced show. Fast-paced, get it? Yeah, I love The Flash. My favorite superhero show. Live action, anyway. I'm also going to include shows like Batman, the 60s Batman, or the 70s Wonder Woman, or the George Reeves Superman, or anything like that. I guess I feel like that they belong in another list. I don't know. I feel like they don't fit the criteria I'm looking for in this list. But they're great shows. And the Incredible Hulk show from the 70s as well. That's another list. That's going to be my live-action superhero shows, even though I included The Flash. Those are like a different genre genre for some reason that I can't really say at the moment. Anyway, number 8. I've lost so much weight, it's like affecting my brain, I guess. Number 8, True Blood. Great vampire show. It started out as a very realistic take on vampires. If vampires existed and came out of the coffin like they put on this show, it would happen exactly like this. There'd be religious groups protesting, saying that they're from hell. The women would be all about them. They'd be like the new cool thing for women to be after. You know, they'd be fantasizing over them. It would happen exactly like that. I love Bill, played by Stephen Moyer. I love Eric. He's my favorite character, played by Alexander Skarsgård. He makes the show. He's my favorite character in the show. Anna Paquin's pretty good as Sookie. It's based on the novels by Charlaine Harris, the Sookie Stackhouse mysteries or something. Yeah, Sookie Stackhouse novels, which are pretty good. Dead Until Dark and Living Dead in Dallas and all that. Yeah, True Blood, great show. It does get kind of bad in some of the later seasons. Season 7 wasn't that great. I don't even own the 7th season. I got the first 6 seasons. It really had its moments. It's very mature, very sleek, very sexual show. It kind of has the same tone as maybe The Lost Boys. It's really cool because more and more supernatural creatures got introduced. Werewolves and shapeshifters and zombies and ghosts and maenads and fairies and all kinds of stuff. Were-panthers, just all kinds of stuff. And it gets a lot more fantastical as the show went on. At first, it was like a realistic look at what if vampires really existed, but as it went on, it got way too convoluted with fantastical creatures. But I wouldn't have it any other way. I'm glad they introduced other creatures. But it was mostly about vampires. And again, yeah, Eric Northman, played by Alexander Skarsgård, is one of those badass, one of those awesome anti-heroes ever, right up there with Wolverine and Vegeta. He's just really cool. He did a great job. He makes the show for me. He's why I love the show so much. And yeah, again, I know the show did kind of run out of steam, but in its heyday, in its prime, it was excellent. All right, guys, so number 7... Tales from the Dark Side. I know. There are better shows of this ilk, like Twilight Zone, Night Gallery, Outer Limits. They're way better. However, I prefer this one because it's more my cup of tea. It's more suited to my personal preference. Again, those other shows are better, but this isn't the top 10 best TV shows list. This is my top 10 personal favorite TV shows list. There's a difference. If I was going by what I think is the most well-directed, well-acted, well-written, I'd say Twilight Zone, Outer Limits, Night Gallery. But I'm going by what's my personal cup of tea, and that's Tales from the Dark Side. Now, the thing about the show is, it is kind of hit or miss. There's a lot of duds. There's a lot of crappy episodes. You really got to go through a sea of crap to get those. But when it's on, it's really on. The good episodes are really good. And I find the ones with the monsters are the best. Like that awesome guy right there. And that's the same mask from the creature from the crate, from Creepshow. The crate segment from Creepshow. I think it's just the mask. It looks like, because it was like a short goblin. It wasn't like a great, large Sasquatch-looking creature. That's an awesome design too. That thing. That was my favorite episode. The one with that guy. The closet, or what's in the closet, or something like that. A girl moves into a house, and then, or an apartment building. There's something in her closet. It turns into that little monster. Yeah, great design. And the best episodes are the ones with the monsters, I think. Great special effects, great puppets, great animatronics, great costumes. The practical effects for the monsters is very creative and very unique. I absolutely love it. Yeah, great show. Again, there are better shows of this criteria, but this one's the most horror-oriented out of those, and it's like more scary. Some of the episodes aren't scary at all. Some of them are like kind of a lame attempt at comedy. Some of them are a little more fantasy than horror, which is great. I like that too. Some of them are just straight up silly. Some of them are just a fictional story, which doesn't have anything to do with horror. That's what I like about it. It's very diverse. This show has a lot more variety than other anthology shows, and I absolutely love it. It was started by George Romero. It was originally supposed to be a Creepshow TV series, which of course is cool. We're getting an actual Creepshow series soon. Yes! Yeah, very great show. Tales of the Dark Side. Check it out. I love the opening, too, by the way. It is awesome. But anyway, number 6. Ash vs. Evil Dead. You know this had to be on the list. I love the Evil Dead trilogy. Ash Williams, played by Bruce Campbell, is my favorite protagonist in horror ever. The chainsaw-armed, shotgun-toting, one-liner spitting, awesome, badass hero who destroys deadites wherever he goes. Is such an awesome character, and nobody could play him other than Bruce Campbell. I love this show. I love all 3 seasons. I wish it could have lasted longer. It wasn't perfect. There were some flaws. There were some things I didn't care for. It got a little weird. Sometimes it got a little convoluted, but there was enough nods and references to the Evil Dead movies that that any fans of the series will eat right up. I like the new characters, especially Kelly. played by Dana De Lorenzo. She was really awesome. Pablo was pretty cool too. He was a good sidekick, but it's really all about Ash. It's all about Ash busting some dead-eyed ass, finding the Necronomicon, accidentally unleashing a demon plague upon mankind, and teaming up with the likes of Ruby, played by, of course, by Lucy Lawless for Xena, to destroy the minions of hell. Awesome show. Love it. Love Ash. I want to see more of him. I hope that they continue it someday, or make an Evil Dead Part 4, even better. All right, anyway, now we're down to the top 5, right? Yeah, top 5. Number 5, Battlestar Galactica, the original series from 1978 and the reboot series from 2004, 2005. I love both these shows. Some of my favorite sci-fi stuff. I love space. I love aliens. I love Cylons. Cylons are freaking awesome. They're robotic antagonists. They're so cool. Right up there with the Daleks and the Cybermen from Doctor Who. Love me some Cylons. I love both shows. A lot of people would argue that the newer show is superior to the original. I don't know. I still kind of have a soft spot for the original. Yeah, it's definitely very Star Wars ripoff laden, but I don't care. I think it's very well done. I love Apollo and Starbuck and Adama. They're all great characters. Lauren Green is one of my favorite actors. Very, very fun show. Very awesome. The Cylons are great. Yeah, everything's great. And yeah, and the new show did really expand on it and really did go a lot further. I pretty much liked them both equally in different ways. This one went a lot longer. It even had some had some movies like Caprica. They were based on it. Great show. Definitely check it out. My life would be incomplete without both of them. I gotta have both of them because they're both awesome. My favorite sci-fi shows of all time, but not quite as good as number 4, Doctor Who. Love Doctor Who. All incarnations. The original series that started in 1963 and ended in, 89? Then the new series that started in 2005, I think. Yeah. My favorite Doctor is Tom Baker, the 4th Doctor. He's my favorite. Tom Baker, and then then Patrick Troughton, who's the 2nd Doctor. Then John Pertwee, who's the 3rd Doctor. Those are my top 3. Baker, Troughton, and Pertwee. And then the new Doctors, my favorites are David Tennant and Matt Smith. They're awesome. I haven't seen the newest incarnation, the 13th Doctor, Jodie Whittaker. She's the first female Doctor Who. Now, you'd think I'd be bothered by them changing it after all these years, but I think it makes the Doctor character more interesting. He can transform. He changes form, explaining the change of actors. He's gone through many different forms, and now he can be a female, too. That's just awesome. But yeah, he's a badass, time-traveling genius from the planet Gallifrey. He travels around the TARDIS, which is a police... It's disguised as a police telephone booth, which isn't really relevant today. Awesome show. It's made in England. It aired on BBC. A lot of the episodes are missing. The early episodes when they're black and white from the William Hartnell and Patrick Troughton eras. But they in most of the DVD releases, I have the entire series, by the way, of the old series burned onto some discs, mostly taped off TV and from other stuff. And from official DVD releases. And yeah, a lot of episodes are missing, but they're replaced by animated segments or just storyboards with the script being read out loud or the audio, which is kind of a shame because a lot of them are lost forever. But some of them were found in the vault and restored. But yeah, it's a very long-running show. It started in 1963 and it's still going on. Probably the longest-running live-action show ever, even though it did end and came back, had a revival. I love the original series. I love the new series. I like the original better. Yeah, he goes through time and space and different planets, different time periods. The Master was an awesome villain. There's so many awesome Doctor Who companions. I don't know if I can choose my favorite. There's so many good ones. Yeah, he battles different aliens and different creatures. There's so much variety in this show. There's so many different awesome things that he does. And I just love it. One of my favorite characters ever. The Doctor is just so awesome. There's nothing he can't do. He's got a sonic screwdriver battling some Daleks and some Cybermen and some Silurians. It's just really, really, really cool. I highly recommend the show for fans of sci-fi because it just has everything. It's just endless entertainment. And, if you're planning on having a marathon and watching every Doctor Who episode ever, good luck. You're going to need a lot of tacos to provide adequate sustenance to the Doctor Who marathon, to quote comic book guy from The Simpsons. Worst cameo ever. Okay, that's enough of that. Anyway, yeah, you'll need a lot of tacos because it's going to take a long time. Even I haven't finished every episode. I've gotten pretty far, but man, it just goes exhausting trying to watch it. As much as I love the show, watching the entire series is a chore. And good luck tracking down all episodes. As I said, I have the entire original series. I plan on getting the newer series. I actually ordered the whole new series off of eBay, but it never came, so I got my money back. But I plan on getting it eventually, and you guys will be the first to know. Anyway, I'm rambling. Number 3, my third favorite live-action television show, Star Trek. Could there be any other? My favorite science fiction series ever. It's a very close one between this and Doctor Who. I love everything Star Trek, all the TV shows, all the movies, all the related media, but my favorites are the original series with the good old Captain Kirk and Spock and McCoy and and Scotty and Chekhov and all of them. But yeah, the original series and Next Generation are my favorites. And Sulu and Uhura, yeah, all the originals. And of course, I love the Next Generation with Picard and Data and Worf and all them. LaForge, yeah, great cast. You know, Riker, awesome characters, some of the best characters ever created. I do like the original series slightly better than Next Generation. I think it's slightly superior, but as I said, my life would be just like Battlestar Galactica. My life would be incomplete without both of them. I also really like Deep Space Nine. And Enterprise and Voyager and some of the other ones. You know, I like them in varying degrees, but these two are by far the best, and they're the best movies as well. Star Trek. Love me some Star Trek. I'm a huge Trekkie. Yeah, sorry if my mind went blank a little bit there, but lots of mental fog from all the craziness going on lately and the lack of... I'm very malnutrition, so... But anyway, enough about that. My second favorite show of all time... Dexter. I freaking love this show. As you know, I am obsessed with serial killers, not because I want to be one or think what they do is cool, but I'm really into the psychology behind it. I love to see what they went through, what their childhood was like, what made them the way they are. It's very, very fascinating to me. And Dexter Morgan is a great character. Great, very, very, very well written, perfectly acted by Michael C. Hall. Nobody else could have played the character as well as he does. I think I have all of them on DVD, and I have 7 and 8 on Blu-ray. Great job. So many things about serial killers. If you're into serial killers, this is the show for you. And Dexter kills other killers. I love vigilantes. I love people who take the law in their own hands and punish people who deserve to be punished. And that's what Dexter does. The way he does it is really scary and really interesting. He drugs them, straps them to the table, kills them with hammers or knives. In so many different awesome ways. Wraps them in plastic and then disposes of their body, tosses their body in the ocean. Very, very, very cool. We really see a lot about Dexter's childhood, we went to, how he became a killer. Awesome psychology there, awesome backstory. Other killers, like the Ice Truck Killer, the Trinity Killer, played by John Lithgow, he was so awesome. Him and the Ice Truck Killer, played by Christian Camargo, are my two favorite antagonists of the show. The first 4 seasons are perfect. I have nothing bad to say about the first 4 seasons. Seasons 6, 7, 8, and 9, seasons 5, 6, 7, and 8 are really, really good too. They definitely have their moments. Not quite as good as the first 4. Especially the last 2 seasons weren't quite as good. I think I do like season 7 a bit more than most people do. In season 6 with the Doomsday Killer and season 5 with the Barrel Girl murders and stuff. Some awesome antagonists. The last 4 seasons weren't quite as good as the first 4, but I still love them. I think they're kind of underrated. They definitely had their moments. I'm definitely glad the show continued. I'm glad it didn't end after 4 seasons, because there's some awesome things to find in the last 4 seasons, too. So I disagree with everybody who thinks that the last 4 are complete crap. I think they're great. Could be better. Anyway, I could talk for hours about the show. I absolutely love it. Dexter, it deserves its own video. One day I'll review this show, because I got a lot to say about it. I can't do it justice in this video. We're running out of time, so let's go and get to my number 1 choice. I'm not going to do any honorable mentions, because there's way too many to name. I could be here all day. We're already using the 20-minute mark. So let's go and get to number 1, Lord Hellhound's number 1 favorite television show of all time, Tales from the Crypt. I adore this show. I worship this show. Based on the awesome EC comics of the same name, which I grew up reading. All I did growing up was watch horror movies and read comics, and this show combines the two beautifully. They got a Crypt Keeper voiced by John Kazir telling a new story every week. It first aired on HBO, then they had the reruns on the Sci-Fi Channel, and they were edited, which wasn't good. I fell in love with this show when I first saw it. I watched it with my dad when I was really young. I couldn't stop thinking about it. And then when it finally came out on DVD, I was like, I have to get it and relive those great memories. So many great episodes. Oh man, there's way too many to name. House of Horror, The Ventriloquist Dummy, Three's a Crowd, The Switch, People Who Live in Brass Hearses. There's so many great. I could be here all day. Eventually, I'm going to make my top 10 favorite Tales from the Crypt episodes. I love the Crypt Keeper and all his hilarious horror-related puns. Hello, boils and ghouls. Have I got to scream for you? Okay, that's enough. Enough impersonations. Sorry. He's just hilarious. Yeah, he's just awesome. Such a great character. He's a lot different from the Crypt Keeper of the comics, looks-wise anyway. This is a rotting corpse. He's more of a decaying zombie. In the comics, he still looked human. He was like just a really, really old man. But you kind of got the feeling that he was dead, so, it's not too far off. And he is a puppet. It's not a man in costume or anything. He's a puppet, obviously, voiced by John Kazir. And yeah, his puns and his jokes are just a riot. They're a staple of the comics, kind of the later comics, and they adapt it beautifully in the show. Every single episode is based on either a Tales from the Crypt comic, a Vault of Horror comic, a Haunt of Fear comic, a Shock Suspense Stories comic, or maybe even a Crime Suspense Stories comic. Except for the last one, which is called The Third Pig, which is a variation of The Three Little Pigs, and that's the only animated segment. It's hilarious. The only cartoon episode. There was also Tales from the Crypt Keeper, which is an animated spin-off, which is more kid-oriented and much toned down from the show, which is also pretty good because that one had the Vault Keeper and the Old Witch. They were sorely missing from this show. They should have had the other two awesome horror hosts, the three ghoul lunatics they were called in the comics. But it didn't detract from the show too much. I still think it's perfect. But anyway, yeah, I love this show. It's awesome. I love how every episode is something different. All Through the House. That's another good one for Killer Santa. I wish that they would have revived it. They talked about reviving it. They made a trailer. It looked very disappointing. It looked very underwhelming. John Kazir wasn't returning as the Crypt Keeper. If you're going to revive Tales from the Crypt and you can't get John Kazir, here's what you do. You call it Vault of Horror, which was the second... the sister comic of the original Tales from the Crypt comics, done by EC Comics. You call it Vault of Horror, and you have the Vault Keeper telling the stories and hosting the wraparound, and appearing at the beginning and the end and making jokes. Have the Vault Keeper, make him look different from the Crypt Keeper. Have him have like a more deeper voice, like he did in the cartoon. The guy who voiced Magneto in the X-Men cartoon voiced him. His name escapes me at the moment. Have a voice like that. Have that guy voice him. The guy who voiced Magneto in the X-Men cartoon, have him kind of do a more deep voiced, so he's differentiated from the high-pitched, squeaky voice of the Crypt Keeper. That's what you do. Call it Vault of Horror, have the Vault Keeper hosting, and then that's how you bring it back if you can't get John Kazir. Don't call it Tales from the Crypt without John Kazir. Call it Vault of Horror. Because I would love to see a revival. If you get John Kazir, call it Tales from the Crypt and make it like Tales from the Crypt. Don't make it look like that weird Sci-Fi Channel typical Saw Hostile style BS that we saw in that terrible trailer. I'm glad that they didn't go through with that. It looked like it was going to be a letdown. It looked like it was just going to be a middle finger to the fans. But yeah, if you want to bring it back the right way, call it Vault of Horror. Like I said, the Vault Keeper. Anyway, Tales from the Crypt's my number one favorite show. Feel free to leave your top 10 favorite shows in the comics. If your favorite show didn't make the list, I'm sorry. I probably do like it, but it's hard to narrow it down to 10. If you want to make your own video, go ahead. This can be an open tag. Tell them Lord Hellhound sent you. I'd love to see your guys' favorite TV shows. Let's talk about some great shows, some great TV series. All right, guys, I'm Lord Hellhound. Thank you for watching my Midnight Spook Show here on the Horror Metal channel. Until next time.